From nonstop power struggles and control issues, to being turned away and breaking down at the airport. This is how Shekinah and Sarper's love story took a turn no one saw coming. But to understand how it all unraveled, we have to rewind to where their chaotic journey first began. Shekinah first connected with Sarper on social media in 2023. At the time, she was a single mom living in Los Angeles, rebuilding her life after a divorce. She was deeply focused on spiritual growth, self-discovery, and raising her children. Life hadn't been easy, but she was committed to healing and becoming stronger than ever. One day, she came across Sarper's profile. A fitness trainer based in Istanbul, he had a sculpted body and a smile that instantly grabbed attention. His photos showed him living a high-energy life at the gym and around the city. Something about him stood out. Their conversations started casually, simple chats about life, goals, and personal growth. But before long, those conversations stretched into hours-long nightly talks. The time difference didn't matter. Shekinah stayed up late, Sarper woke up early, and neither complained. They connected over shared ambitions and self-improvement. Sarper made her laugh, and for the first time in years, Shekinah felt truly understood. Shekinah opened up about her divorce and the inner work she'd been doing. Sarper talked about his own challenges and dreams. What began as attraction slowly turned into something that felt deep and meaningful. After months of late-night calls, Shekinah made a bold decision that would change everything. By early 2024, she booked a flight to Istanbul to meet Sarper face-to-face. Friends warned her she was taking a huge risk, traveling across the world for a man she'd only known online. But Shekinah trusted her instincts. She felt the connection was real and worth the leap. When she landed in Turkey and spotted Sarper waiting for her at the airport, all her fears disappeared. He looked even better in person, and that smile was genuine. The chemistry they'd built online translated instantly into real life. Their first date felt straight out of a romance film. They walked along the Bosphorus at sunset, city lights reflecting on the water. Sarper admitted he'd never dated an American woman before, and seemed almost shy, something Shekinah found charming. When they shared their first kiss by the water, she felt completely swept away. To Shekinah, this felt like the love story she had waited for. After everything she'd endured, she believed she finally deserved this happiness. The trip was meant to be short, but every day felt unreal. They explored Istanbul, shared meals, talked for hours, and soaked in each other's presence. But subtle red flags were already there, if you knew where to look. Sarper had a reputation back home as a long-time bachelor. Before Shekinah, he'd fully embraced a fast-paced, player lifestyle in Istanbul. And this is where the cracks first started to form. Their differences became obvious quickly. Shekinah lived a vegan, holistic lifestyle centered around meditation, wellness, and spiritual routines. Her mornings began with yoga, and her nights ended with gratitude journaling. Clean living wasn't a phase, it was her entire way of life. Sarper, on the other hand, loved meat, nightlife, and Turkey's loud social scene. He grilled kebabs while she made quinoa bowls. She stretched at sunrise while he stumbled home from clubs at 3 a.m. These weren't small disagreements, they were opposing lifestyles that collided constantly. Early on, those differences felt playful instead of draining. They joked about it. He teased her about her rabbit food, and she laughed about his late nights. They believed love could overcome anything. Those same contrasts would later fuel the drama viewers couldn't look away from once they joined the show. But at the time, it was just two people trying to make an unlikely connection work. Once cameras entered the picture, everything changed. Intimate moments became storylines. The pressure was about to push their relationship to its limits. When they joined 90 Day Fiancé, their love story became public property. Cameras documented every disagreement. Private conversations were suddenly entertainment for millions. The stress was intense, but so was their determination to make it work. The K-1 visa process forced Shekinah to travel back and forth to Turkey repeatedly. Each goodbye felt heavier than the last. Back in LA, she counted the days until she could see Sarper again. Her children asked when he'd moved to America. She had no answers, only hope and paperwork. During this period, Sarper began reevaluating his career. Personal training no longer fulfilled him. After years in the same routine, he felt burned out. Then he discovered stand-up comedy and became obsessed. He'd always been the funny guy, the center of attention. Friends encouraged him to try comedy for years. Now he finally committed. He binge-watched comedy specials, studied delivery and timing, and convinced himself this could become his next big path. The show captured every uncomfortable moment between them. Producers leaned into the chaos, and Shekinah and Sarper delivered. Arguments about his past, clashes over their future, emotional confessionals where both questioned whether the relationship was worth the pain. Then came the bombshell. During a confessional, Sarper admitted he'd slept with over 2,500 women before Shekinah. The revelation devastated her. Sarper insisted his past no longer mattered, claiming everything changed when he met her, and that those women meant nothing. He promised loyalty and respect, but viewers could see the internal struggle. Episode after episode left fans questioning whether he could truly stay faithful. The temptation was obvious, and the cameras captured every moment of tension. Moving to America was supposed to be their fresh start. Instead, it exposed deeper cracks. Once Sarper arrived in the US, they began life together in Los Angeles. Shekinah helped him navigate green card paperwork while he chased opportunities in comedy. The process was exhausting, but they initially approached it as a team. At first, they presented a united front. After their controversial season of 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way, their social media showed travel photos, affectionate moments, and messages about standing strong despite public criticism. For a time, it appeared they had proven everyone wrong. Fans were surprised to see smiles, talk of healing, and posts about commitment. From the outside, things looked stable, even as tension quietly grew behind the scenes. Gradually, the tone changed. Arguments intensified, and unresolved issues piled up. Their marriage showed visible strain. Shekinah's posts shifted toward her children, personal growth, and self-care. Quotes about self-worth replaced couple photos. Sarper focused more on his individual pursuits, mentioning the marriage less and less. Their disappearing presence as a couple didn't go unnoticed. Reddit and Instagram users began speculating, especially after it was revealed they weren't even sharing a hotel room during the tell-all. As rumors of separation grew, and with Shekinah reportedly saying she'd rather be alone than unhappy, fans could sense the relationship was unraveling. What once appeared solid now looked like a marriage slowly coming apart. Fans began noticing small shifts that suggested something wasn't right. Tiny details started telling a story the couple wasn't ready to share publicly. The 90 Day Fiancé fanbase notices everything. Online forums filled up with theories. Some speculated the couple was being lined up for the last resort, the spin-off known for throwing struggling relationships into on-camera therapy, either fixing them or documenting their final breakdown. Others focused on moments that felt off. A comedy show where Sarper failed to thank Shekinah during his acknowledgments. An Instagram story where she appeared visibly down while he celebrated with friends. Individually, they seemed minor, but together, they painted a troubling picture. The energy between them had clearly changed. Shekinah continued traveling with Sarper to nearly every tour stop, fully stepping into the supportive partner role. But candid photos showed exhaustion. The light she once carried was dimmer. Sarper thrived on attention and crowds, while Shekinah faded into the background, almost invisible despite being right beside him. As his independence expanded, her world slowly narrowed around his schedule. She rearranged her entire life to support his career. Her spiritual routines were pushed into whatever time he didn't need her. Even her children saw less of her because she was constantly on the road for him. His comedy also shifted in tone. What began as light teasing turned sharper and more cutting. He mocked her spiritual beliefs in ways that felt dismissive. Her emotions became punchlines, framing her as overly sensitive or high maintenance. Shekinah laughed from the audience, but her smile no longer reached her eyes. Then came the moments that couldn't be ignored. Shekinah's birthday passed with barely any acknowledgement on his social media. Fans noticed immediately. Instead of celebrating her, Sarper posted about upcoming shows and tour dates as if it were any other day. One airport message would change everything. What happened in Miami finally shattered what little remained of their already fractured relationship. November 2025 became the breaking point. Sarper had a major comedy show scheduled in Miami, one of the biggest venues of his career. Shekinah flew out to see him, hopeful despite everything. She wanted this trip to mean something, maybe even to save what felt like it was slipping away. She convinced herself that once this hectic stretch was over, they'd reconnect. She landed at the Miami airport, grabbed her bags, and texted him. No reply. She called, straight to voicemail. She waited in the arrivals area, watching other couples reunite with hugs and excitement while she stood alone. 1 hour passed, then another. Travelers came and went. She shifted from standing to sitting, from hopeful to anxious to furious. She refreshed her phone repeatedly, searching for any explanation. Eventually, a message came through. Sarper wasn't coming. He was already at the venue preparing for the show. Worse than missing the pickup, he told her he didn't want her there at all. He said her presence would distract him. He needed to focus on his performance, his career, his future. Shekinah stood there rereading the message. The man who once promised to put her first had left her stranded in a city she didn't know. The man who talked about forever chose stage time over showing up for her. The man who proposed couldn't even pick her up from the airport. She took an Uber to a hotel and spent the night alone. While Sarper stood on stage making people laugh, possibly even joking about their relationship, Shekinah cried in a hotel room. He had made it clear, comedy was now his priority. Their relationship had been reduced to an inconvenience. The following day, Shekinah shared her pain on Instagram stories. Her words were raw and unfiltered. She called his behavior beyond despicable. She explained that she'd flown there hoping to celebrate her upcoming birthday together, only to be ignored and rejected. This wasn't just another argument. This was the moment she realized it was truly over. She had given up so much for him: constant travel, unwavering support, complete devotion, and he couldn't even pick her up from the airport. He couldn't even pretend to want her there anymore. The irony hit hard. The same man who once crossed continents for her couldn't drive across town. Applause had replaced affection. Spotlight mattered more than partnership. The stage lights outshined everything they had built. After years of trying, Shekinah shared the message everyone expected. This was the official end of their love story. Within days, she made it public. She posted a longer statement confirming what fans already knew. She and Sarper were done. No more couple appearances, no more playing the supportive role, no more sacrificing her happiness for someone who no longer valued it. Her message was calm but firm. She explained that over time, they stopped prioritizing each other equally. The effort she put into supporting his career no longer matched what she received in return, and the imbalance became impossible to ignore. She thanked fans who had supported them and believed in their growth. But she also acknowledged a hard truth. Relationships only improve when both people are equally invested. From her perspective, the problems had been building for a long time, and one final incident simply made everything clear. As for logistics, those would be handled privately. If they chose to formally separate, it would be relatively simple. No shared children, different cities, and reportedly a prenup already discussed. It would simply be a matter of each of them moving forward with their own lives. Sarper stayed silent at first. He didn't release any public statement, didn't address the situation online, and continued showing up for his scheduled work as usual. People read into his silence in different ways, but from the outside, there was no clear indication of what he was actually thinking or feeling. In the end, the couple many viewers believed might beat the typical 90-day fiancé curse seemed to run into the same pressures that derail so many relationships in the public eye. What began with excitement and optimism slowly turned into two people heading in completely different directions. Almost immediately, internet went into overdrive. Theories spread fast. Some fans believed the breakup was real, while others were convinced it was staged for attention or future camera time. As soon as rumors about Sarper and Shekinah started circulating, Reddit and Facebook lit up. Fans rushed in with opinions, and while reactions were mixed, skepticism dominated. Many felt the timing was just a little too perfect. One commenter wrote, "Someone posted a few days ago that she's been going to his comedy shows, probably a setup to get on the last resort." Others quickly agreed, arguing that public drama from former cast members often signals another spin-off storyline. Some viewers were especially blunt. They are attention seekers who were on 90 Day Fiancé, the dumpster diving of reality TV, one person wrote, reflecting the irritation of longtime fans who feel certain couples manufacture conflict. Another piled on, saying, "Exactly, they're so fake. This is clearly a play to get on." Another show. And why Miami of all places? To buddy up with other cast members there. Next thing you know, she'll be getting a Florida license and setting up shop in Miami. It's obvious. Not everyone shared that cynical view. A small group of fans pushed back, saying the breakup rumors didn't line up with what they'd personally seen. "I don't buy it. You should have seen how in love they were at his comedy show on Halloween weekend," one person insisted. Another added, "People lie online all the time, but they genuinely looked happy together. If anything, they're probably too happy to qualify for the last resort." Others focused less on drama and more on logistics. "Why is she traveling to every single show anyway?" one commenter questioned. "She has her own business. I wouldn't follow my husband on tour nonstop. And there's no way he's making enough to cover all that travel." Meanwhile, another fan summed up the uncertainty with a simple thought. "I wonder if she's subtly promoting the last resort. Supportive or doubtful, one thing was clear. Everyone had something to say, and no one was sitting on the sidelines." Shekinah and Sarper's story is a reminder that relationships need more than chemistry and big promises. They require effort, presence, and mutual respect. Their journey shows what can happen when one person's ambitions begin to overshadow the relationship itself. If you want more reality TV updates and deep dives into what really goes on behind the scenes, don't forget to subscribe below.